Hi everyone, welcome to card 2 of my Christmas card series. Here I'm using a stamp from Inkadinkado's Christmas collection, and I do not remember what the name is, sorry. I'm using a dryer sheet to wipe away any kind of static. I don't have one of those static remover pad things, so I use a dryer sheet. I'm using Stampendo's clear embossing ink, the Boss Gloss, and I'm just inking up my image and stamping it down onto my cardstock. And I'm going to be using a copper color embossing um, embossing powder, and I bought that a long time ago from Joann's. And I'm going to go ahead and heat that up with my heat tool. The paper I'm using in this card is the Holiday Traditions from Recollections from Michaels and my Mind's Eye Lost and Found Christmas. So here I'm just heating up my image. And I'm using a card base from Recollections as well. It measures 5 by 6.5. And I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do with my card. And I'm using my Fiskars punch, and I'm sorry, I do not remember the name of this punch as well. Bought this a long time ago. So what I did was I punched out an edge, trimmed it off to about an inch, and then I went back and punched out another one and trimmed that one as well as about an inch. And you'll see why I did this later on in the video. So here I'm rounding my two end corners there on all of my layers and my card base. Now I'm using my Martha Stewart set I bought, the holiday set she had at Michael's, and I use white pigment ink, and I use Lindy's Stamp Gang two-tone embossing powder. So here I'm going back in with my Boss Gloss, and I did my whole edges of my card, the inside and the front and the inside of the card. And I'm just going to heat that up with my heat gun, and again I'm using my copper color just to correspond with the stamp. And I did this because it just added a little bit extra to the card, just gave it a little something something, just made everything blend well together. So like I said, I did it to the front and also the inside of the card. Now I'm just going to go ahead and cut this Merry Christmas sign out, stamped image out. And here's why I trimmed out those two punch edges that I did. I'll go ahead and connect them to my card here, my top layer. And I'm just trying to decide where I want it to go. And then what I'll just go in and do after I get this put down is just trim off those edges that's hanging off. And then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take that Merry Christmas circle thing I made and punch a hole through it, and I'm going to run some twine through it. And this twine is from Martha Stewart's set. Again, I got that at Michael's. And I'm just going to tape this down so it stays in place. And I just created almost like a tying pattern. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't even know what kind of pattern it is. It's just something I did. There's probably a name for it, and I don't even know, but this is something I just did at the moment. Made the card look cute. So you can see there, I'm just fussing around with the front of it. And I'm putting acid-free tape all over this back here on the edges, so when I run my ATG tape over there, it just runs over pretty smooth. I'm going to go ahead and get my layers all put together. Take my top layer, stick it down to my second layer, and then I'm going to take that layer and stick it down to the front of my card base. So like I said, my card base measures 5 by 6. My first layer, the Christmas tree, measures 4.5 by 5.5. And the image that I used my embossing on is 3.25 by 5.75. So again, on the inside of the card, I did the same thing. I rounded my corners just to make everything correspond with one another. I'm going to go ahead and adhere all this together. And the stamp that I'm using on the inside is from Recollections that I got from Michael's as well. And you're going to see that I use my Tim Holtz ruler to pick my stamp up. It works just as well. I couldn't find an acrylic block, so that worked just as well. So I stamped it off first a couple times to make sure to see where I needed extra pressure or anything at, because I'm stamping it right onto my layers that goes into my card. I just wanted to make sure it all Yeah, that looked good. So I'm going ahead and I'm sticking down my layer to my card base and going to go ahead and ink up that image. And that is it. That's all I did to my card. So I want to thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoy and have a wonderful and safe holiday. Thanks everyone. Have a good evening. Bye.
Silver bells, sing silver bells, ring silver bells, sing silver bells. Hark, hear the bells, sweet silver bells, all seem to say, throw cares away. Christmas is here, bringing good cheer to young and old, meek and the bold. Ding dong, that is the song, with joyful ring, all caroling.